Yo, what's up guys? It's Yellowfin, and I'm going to be trying now Call of the Wild Challenge 4 to see if we will be able to get this carbon fiber. So hopefully we can, because, I mean, it would be cool to get a carbon fiber, but right now we're starting off with 90 RQ, so I basically just have all my upgraded cars, or basically my stock commons. And this round looks really simple, so I probably will be fine here, because I have already cars that have been previously upgraded, like that Chrysler Falcon is a pretty useful one, especially for these low RQ drag races. So let's see if we'll be able to make it through Call of the Wild Challenge 4 and maybe get that carbon fiber, and then maybe we can get something good from it. But looking at the upcoming rounds for the Aerial Nomad, I don't think I'll be able to win it, so this is basically the end of the road for Call of the Wild for me. So unless I could get something good from the carbon, but I probably won't be able to win it. So here we go now, on to the next round, and let's see what we'll be able to do. It doesn't look too bad. I'll just probably have to upgrade this Mitsubishi Colt, which I am doing right now. And so yeah, pretty good, upgraded now, plus I will have to put an upgrade into the chassis on the Ford Mustang so it can beat the stock Mustang on the wet slalom test. And then the Chrysler Falcon I'll put there, and basically just the standard tires on the snow. Now this one I was a little concerned about just because I know that Beetle is a pretty good car, and it wins some surprisingly random stuff, but the Mitsubishi Colt does win, which makes sense because it has much better stats in all areas. This one is a pretty easy win, but the one thing that's interesting about it, that the only advantage that the Volkswagen Beetle has is that it's rear-wheel drive, but still, all the rest of its stats are so bad that it can't keep up with the Volkswagen Fox. This one too is a bit interesting just because the Mustang has a bit better MRA and higher top speed, so I was able to keep up a bit, but we did end up winning that race, and this one we win because we're just upgraded more. So yeah, this round is pretty fine, because then here we have, what is that, 22 more handling? Yeah, I think we have 22 more handling on the Chevy Impala. So, on to round 3 now, we just got to switch up the hand a bit more. And this one's a bit interesting, so I had to use my Colt Vista, because there's another Colt Vista, and that's like an actual good off-road car for low RQ. So, also that Epic Mustang might be an issue, but we should probably get enough bonus points anyway, so don't really have to max anything out or upgrade anything yet. Because even though we do lose with the Volkswagen Fox, they actually do get a bit of bonus points, which is a bit interesting. But hopefully the Mitsubishi Colt can get a good amount of points right here, which it does with 123. So now we're back in the positives. So hopefully we can get some points right here with the Colt Vista. And we actually do manage to get some bonus points, even though we just have a more upgraded version. Usually when you just have a more upgraded version of a car, you don't really get that many bonus points from it. But we did lose here though, which was pretty interesting to the Beetle, even though we do have 12 more handling. But it might just be because the Beetle has standard tires and it's probably lighter. But that's okay, because we do get a ton of points against the Opel Manta GTE because we have rear-wheel drive standard tires on the Chrysler Falcon, which is very nice for it beating a car from the 50s beating a car from the 80s, which is pretty funny, but we did it. This round also shouldn't be a problem just because of that quarter-mile drag. I can put my Chrysler Falcon on it. Basically everything else I just need to throw in their spots. But it'll be interesting with that Buick on the first round if we actually are able to win it or not. And then these two I'm just deciding which one I won't lose too many points on, but it doesn't really matter. I should get enough points anyway. Now right here it'll be interesting to see if we are able to beat the Roadmaster, because we do have a lot more handling, but the Roadmaster does have standard tires, so it does win in the end again. Mustang just doesn't seem to be too great when it comes to rainy stuff, but I mean that's okay, it's a great RQ saver in the first place. So it being not good at one type of thing, it's probably fine. Also right here, Volkswagen Fox gets 101 points, which is very nice. And then onto this round now, we will lose, but it'll be very close. If the Mitsubishi Colt was upgraded in engine, it probably would have been fine. Even if we upgraded handling, it definitely would have won. But now right here, we will flatten the Subaru Rex, so it's okay anyway. Yep, enough points. So 391 to 100, onto round 5 now. This time we have to use rares now, which shouldn't be an issue because I have a ton of rares upgraded from previous rounds. Yep, this hand probably will work, because I just need something for that fast circuit, but I could probably just use the Beetle on that, and it'll probably win. Also, that 4-wheel drive standard tire Fiat Panda will be perfect for that rallycross circuit, because it's a rallycross circuit, so we have the mix of the rain, where the 4-wheel drive standard tire helps, and then also the standard tires and 4-wheel drive, I guess, for the off-road as well. The Beetle actually does win there, because the Carabo has no MRA. If the Carabo actually had MRA, it probably would have won that race, but because the Carabo has no MRA, it wasn't able to keep up with the Beetle, and the Beetle just passed it on all the corners, and then the Carabo just couldn't catch up. So this race is pretty easy, just gotta have some off-roaders, which isn't really too bad. I'm just gonna skip through it. There we go, on to round 7 now. Just gotta grab some more off-roaders, because there's 3 off-road races. And shouldn't really be an issue. I wonder, the Ram will probably lose on the last race though to the Ram Charger. So it might actually be interesting what'll happen, but we should get enough points from the Ford Puma, I think it was. Yeah, it was a Ford Puma. So we should be able to get enough points here anyway. You got 6,981 to 4-wheel drive off-road tires. I don't really know why I needed to say the Ford Puma stats, because it got flattened because we have the better spec for the better race. So right here now, Suzuki Swift just wins because we have traction control, ABS, and standard tires. So we're good here. Now this one will be interesting because as you see, the Ram Dodge First Gen actually does pass the Dodge Ram Charger, which is pretty interesting because they don't really have MRA, because they don't really go over 100 miles per hour. Like, they're basically, their top speed's either a tiny bit above 100 miles per hour, or they just don't go over 100 miles per hour, which is like the stock Ram in my hand right now. It only hits 97, so it doesn't actually really have MRA, or like a known statistic of MRA, which is pretty interesting when it comes down to races like that. So it's pretty interesting to see a car win like that. Now this one will be probably fine. We should make enough bonus points anyway, so even if we do lose to the TIG one, this will probably be a loss, which it is because we just have 8 less handling, but that's okay because we do get a ton of points right there. And now on to round 8, I think is what it said. So I actually can use some of my higher tier stuff now, which is pretty nice because I have a much stronger higher tier area. So these rounds should be pretty easy to get through, especially because then if I don't have something, it's basically just game over for Call of the Wild then. Because I'm not going to open up any of the carbons. I already have, I've gotten as far as I wanted to get that I'm happy with. So I'm basically fine with what I got. I got 2 prize cars out of it, and we might be getting a carbon out of this one. So let's see now with this stuff. And also, if I gambled with a carbon, there's a pretty high chance it would just be fused, so it'd be kind of a waste. But now let's see, there we go, 309 points from round 10 onto round 11 now. And this is the round that actually was a very tricky one because on that Tokyo G-Force test where you see the Dodge Hornet, there actually used to be the maxed Ford Mustang Cobra SVT-R that was maxed out with, I think, 99 handling. I think that's the spec it was. So literally you could only beat it with the Corvette or the Viper, like if you had it maxed out. This round was also a little interesting just because of all the TIG ones, but it wasn't really a problem right once I just looked at my rares and figured out what spot to put them. There we go, the 332 Ford Puma, again, winning. It's actually, I mean, I wouldn't recommend 332ing a Ford Puma, because it doesn't have the 0 to 60 to 332 a Ford Puma, but since I had the 332 a Ford Puma, even though it ended up losing, it's actually been pretty useful. It's actually helped in a couple of races here, and I think I used it in clubs once, and it was actually pretty good as well. Probably just because not many people have a Ford Puma, or like an RQ30 standard tire car. I actually have 2 now. Well, actually 3. I also have another Ford Puma, which is the one right there. And then I also have a Volkswagen Jetta, which I maxed out for some challenge, I think. But yeah, so a low RQ standard tire car, even though it's upgraded weirdly, it actually is pretty useful. So what I'd recommend from that basically is not to 332 a Ford Puma, but to at least keep a very low RQ standard tire car that's like at the bottom tier of rare. Because sometimes it's very useful to have a low RQ standard tire car that's an RQ saver, because then you won't lose very many points too when putting up against an epic or like an ultra rare on rain. You won't lose very many points. So now that was the round that I actually had the loading screen bug. It's like the bug where it just stays on the loading screen for like forever. So I didn't actually get a recording of that round. Don't really know what happened in the previous rounds because I was just talking over it. Now this is where it gets a bit interesting because the sand gets involved. But I looked at Katie play, saw what stuff won what, because like right here the Porsche Cayman beats the SRT Viper, also the RQ49 Mustang beats the Porsche Viper, I mean not the Porsche Viper, the Dodge Viper. So yeah, it was pretty interesting. There's just a lot of strange wins in this one, but basically I just looked at KT play, saw what won, saw what lost, and basically just picked out what I had, and threw all the rest of the stuff in the other spots. That one was interesting. It was a 4192 Mustang, but it wasn't really an issue because I had my 3894 Max Chassis Porsche Cayman. Right here I was able to use my Viper SRT10, which has 95 MRA, so it's a very good car for the drag strip. And right here the Guayra does good because it's light and has a ton of handling. So there we go, that's that round done. Now on to round 16. Close to getting the aerial token, even though I won't be able to get very far in the aerial challenge anyway. So this is basically the end of the road for Call of the Wild, but here we go now. Another interesting one where I basically had to look at what won and what didn't, with a lot of close races, especially with the De Tomaso Guaira, because I'm not sure if it has traction control or ABS. It might have one, but I'm not sure which one. But it actually did still end up winning against the Mustang, which was pretty interesting. That race is an easy one, just threw my Viper on it. This one also, the Mustang wins because it has medium ground clearance, so it's able to get much higher up the hill than the Porsche Cayman. Right here was a pretty interesting one because that Mustang was a really big issue on the hairpin road, but the Porsche Cayman also seemed to be a really good car at off-road for some reason. And then right here, the SRT10, my Viper, against the other Viper. We have a faster 0 to 60, better top speed, better MRA, and we only win by 0.01, which is pretty interesting to see as well, especially since they don't really have ETB. We have the same ETB as them, which is the engine traction bonus from the engine being upgraded. This round also gave me a bit of an issue, but we are able to get through it, so then we get the token for the Aerial Nomad, which isn't really useful, as I said. This race is pretty interesting because it's another Porsche Cayman against a Porsche Cayman, but we do end up winning because our Porsche Cayman is surprisingly good at off-road racing. Right here, the De Tomaso Guaira barely wins, but it is good enough to be able to win in the end. Mustang wins right here because of the medium ground clearance, so able to get higher up the hill. And then the final race now, which is the Porsche Cayman against the Porsche Cayman. And again, we have much better 0 to 60, but that yellow Porsche Cayman has such a strange boost in off-road, but we are still able to win by 0.01. So there's the token now. Onto the carbon fiber. Let's see if we can do it, and it's this round, the one with the 3394 332 maxed out Dodge Viper that I cannot beat unless I 223 my epic Dodge Viper. So it's the end of the road for Call of the Wild. I can't get any further, but I mean, I'd say it was a good effort. I got as much further than I thought I would have. I got 2 prize cars out of it, got a lot of nice resources, opened a lot of those ceramic packs. I also had that one carbon fiber in the beginning too, so I mean, we did end up with the carbon fiber, but it's just we're not getting 2. But I mean, you win some, you lose some, I guess. I'm happy. I didn't spend a single penny on this one, which, I mean, is pretty nice. And I actually got much further than I thought I would have, so I'll take it. I got 2 prize cars out of it, and this is basically the conclusion to Call of the Wild, the end of the road. I'd say it was I can't speak. I'd say it is a success. There we go. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like these type of videos, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all that cool stuff. I'm Yellowfin. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.